horror fans, once again, it's the Horror Miser Monty G here to do another video tag. This one is the random horror tag. Yes. Now, it appears as though we're having fun with these horror tags now. This time I was tagged by my good friend Ross from Random Ross Horror. He's come up with this nice tag that he created, I believe, last week. And he tagged several people, and he included me on it. So, Ross, this is my random Ross tag for you. And here we go. Let's start off with question number 1. Now, this is not a very long tag, but he does have some he has some very interesting questions in here. I had to come up with some nice answers. He's got 7 questions, and the first question is: would you rather be a vampire, werewolf, ghost, witch, or a zombie? That's an interesting question. Not really in the zombie thing. You know, even though you're still alive, but you got to eat human flesh in order to survive, and you can get killed very instantly by having someone chop your neck off or shoot you in the head, and they look very disgusting. And I don't think about a zombie. I like werewolves. Werewolves are pretty good, but their transformation scene kind of hurts. You see in the American Horror Story, that transformation scene hurts. Although in the Underworld shows, they make the scene of transformations easier, but I think they just did that on time. Ghost, can't hurt anybody. Wouldn't buy me in the witch or wizard, but there's all that black magic stuff I really want to get into. Nah, everyone knows what my favorite supernatural creature would be. That's a vampire. Of course. Hey, excuse me. You could be like the Lost Boys. Sleep all day, party all night. It's fun to be a vampire. Hey, look, I could be Regal and mysterious like Bela Lugosi's Dracula, or even like the great late Christopher Lee. I can be like him. I would not definitely be those shitty ass vampires that Stephanie Meyer created and that Twilight bullshit. Vampires do not sparkle. Well, enough ranting about that. By the way, have you heard from Stephanie Meyer since the Twilight phase went out? Has she done anything? Oh well. Well, enough about that. Well, yeah. So, yeah. Question number 1, my answer would be definitely a vampire, because vampires are my favorite supernatural creature. If I was, yeah, that's it. Now, on with the question number 2. Now, question number 2 is: if the Purge were a real yearly event, would you take part in it? Now, I'm pretty sure most people know I come off very kind, laid back, very easygoing. Yeah, and I am, because that's how my mommy raised me. Some people consider me a mommy's boy, and I consider myself, because hey, look, my mother raised me to be the type of man I am. I'm easy, laid back, but I always tell people, don't take my kindness for weakness. That is one of my favorite rules, because I do get pissed off, but it really takes a lot to piss me off. But if the Purge were a yearly event, no, I would not take part of it, but I will defend myself. I will defend my property. I will defend my lovely wife. I will defend my son, or any other members of my family. Because the 3 things you don't fuck with me is you don't fuck with my wife, you don't fuck with my food, and you don't fuck with my don't fuck with me neither. Because I will kick your ass. So if the Purge were a yearly event, I wouldn't take part of it, but yeah, I will defend my house. I will defend my wife. So yeah, because hey, look, if I gotta kill you, I'm going to kill you. Plain and simple. Hey, guy broke in my house, but then again, that's just any time. Guy breaks in my house, you're dead. Purge or no purge. But yeah, definitely I would not take part of it, but I will defend myself. So that's question number 2. Onward to question number 3. Now, question number 3 says: in a zombie apocalypse, would you rather be a zombie or a survivor? Well, as I stated in the first question, I would not want to be a zombie. Like I said, you got to eat human flesh all the time. You mope around all day. You drag around. You can die very easy. You can get killed very easily if someone does chopping your head off or shooting you. So I rather would be a survivor. I think I would do very well in this zombie apocalypse. I'm pretty resourceful, quick on my feet. Unfortunately, I would probably hope It would happen during my youth, not the age I am at right now, because I couldn't run that well because my knees are terrible. They're terrible. But yeah, I would rather be a survivor. So that's question number 3. Question number 4. Very interesting question here, Ross. You are the bringer of the apocalypse. What infamous leaders in history would make your four horsemen? I had to really think real hard about this because, you have to understand, first of all, who are the four horsemen of the apocalypse? Well, there are conquest, famine, death, and war. So those are the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Now, what infamous leaders would you want to be your four horsemen if you were the bringer of apocalypse? Well, very easy. I chose Joseph Stalin as conquest, Pol Pot as famine, Genghis Khan as war, no question about that, and of course the one and only Vlad Tepes, better known as Dracula, as death. So those are the 4 people who I chose to be my 4 horsemen. Joseph Stalin is conquest, because that's who you want to do. Pol Pot is famine, Genghis Khan as war, and Vlad Tepes as death. Those would be my 4 horsemen of the apocalypse if I were the bringer of the apocalypse. So that's question number 4. Very interesting question. Onward to question number 5. Now, question 5 says, favorite horror sequel better than the original? Now, there's plenty to choose from. Obviously, the first one comes to mind is The Thing. That was pretty good, the original. Now, it's funny, interesting, because a lot of people don't know that The Thing is actually a remake. A remake of the, I think it's 1956, if I got my year right. It was called The Thing from Another World, which is actually based upon a novel. So people who don't know their horror history, that's where The Thing comes from. It was based upon that film. It came out in the 50s. I think it was 56. Starred James Arness, if I got that name right. It was based upon that film, which of course I saw because I remember my mother telling me about that movie. And then when The Thing came out, so that obviously The Thing. Obviously, you have Evil Dead. That remake was pretty good. The Poltergeist remake was pretty good, but it wasn't better than the original. But it wasn't bad neither. The obvious choice for me, obviously, is The Hills Have Eyes. Yes, The Hills Have Eyes, I thought was a definitely better remake than the original. It was very in your face, very violent, very bloody. Uh, I thought the mutants in there were definitely more violent than the other. I actually enjoyed the sequel too. The Hills of Ice Part 2 was an excellent sequel. So yeah, so the horror movie sequel that I thought was better than the original, The Hills Have Eyes. Onward to question number 6. Now, question number 6 is another interesting question we have here. What horror film had the best twist you didn't see coming the first time you watched it? Now, I had to think very hard for this one because there are a lot of horror films that actually have a twist that we didn't see coming. Now, obviously, the first one comes to mind is The Sixth Sense. We didn't see that coming. The Others also was another twist that we didn't see coming. There are plenty of other horror pictures. Uh, April Fool's Day. No one saw that twist coming when we found out later on that actually no one was killed. We didn't see that twist coming. But actually, another movie that probably doesn't, a lot of people don't remember, is a movie called Identity. Um, it was a very interesting movie, and I can't remember the guy. I think it was John Jones. I can't Cusack. I forget the name who started it. Give me a second. It was John Cusack. He actually starred in this film, and he's not known for starring in horror pictures, but he was in it. And we see these people in this hotel room, and they're getting killed off one by one, and we don't know who's killing them. We know that there's a killer in place, but we don't find out until the end of the movie that it was a serial killer who had dissociative identity disorder or multiple personality disorder, but they call it dissociative identity disorder now. And basically, the film was representing the main guy killing off all his alters, killing them off so that way he can become the dominant one. And we come to find out that it was the kid that he had thought he had died, but he didn't die. He faked his own death. He killed off all his alters. And at the end of the film, we see the serial killer finally leaving off, and it had some nice shots between John Cusack and switching back and forth from the real from his perceived mental state and to what was happening in real life. So I thought that film was great because no one saw that coming. It was written very well. It was a pretty good horror movie. If you haven't seen Identity yet, I suggest you check it out. So that's definitely what I would call a horror twist I did not see coming for question number 6, the movie Identity. And we're getting ready to go on to the last and final question, question number 7. Question number 7 is name a horror movie that came out the year you were born. Now, you guys gonna make me feel old. Now, keep in mind, I will be 55 this year. I was born in 1963, right here in the good old city of Brotherly Love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A lot of films that came out in 1963, a lot of people probably never heard of. We do have a couple. We have The Purge, actually came out in 1963. I believe we have Black Sabbath that came out in 1963, but I decided to choose this horror film, Dementia 13. I will pick that horror film as a movie that came out in 1963, Dementia 13. I decided to go a little out of the way film. There was a couple others that were kind of silly, like The Slime People, some other crazy movies. But we'll go with Dementia 13. That's the movie that came out the year I was born, Dementia 13. And that's it. Those are all the questions for Ross's horror tag. I really appreciate Ross from tagging me in this video. And I hope you guys love my answers. I really love doing these tags. And I'm supposed to be tagging other people. So I guess I'll go ahead and once again I'll tag my boy Phil, better known as PMR Bonez88. I think I got your channel right. So I'm going to tag you. So that's right. You got to do another video tag, my friend. Really don't know who else to tag. I know I should tag one other person. I don't know. I guess I'll tag you and my dear good friend, Kweeny Todd. Yes, I'm going to tag you, Kweeny Todd. If you haven't been tagged already, you've been tagged by now. So I'm going to tag my boy Phil, PMR Bonez88. And I'm going to tag you, Kweeny Todd, if you have not been tagged already. So that means you got to do another video tag, my friend. So I'm going to tag those two. Well, that's my video for today, my horror fans. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, if you did, please give it a thumbs up because it really does help the channel out. But even what helps the channel out even more, if this is your first time here, you know what you got to do. That's right. Hit that subscriber button and ring that notification bell. That way you can come and enjoy the horror experience with me, the Horror Miser Monty G. And always, all my social media links will be down at the description box below as well. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember, horror rules.